Welcome to another CSLAP video. My name is Thomas Ray Garcia. I am the Executive Director of the College Scholarship Leadership Access Program located in Pharr, Texas. Today I'm hosting a Zoom panel with two CSLAP mentors who want to give their testimonies about what it was like to attend a Texas university upstate. We have Amber from UT Austin and Nestor from Texas Tech here to answer some questions that you all have sent in on what it's like to transition to college upstate and what it's like to graduate and to go on beyond college.
Hi, I'm Amber Bazan. I graduated from PSJ Early College High School in 2016. I just graduated from the University of Texas at Austin in 2020. I majored in sociology with a minor in English.
And hi, my name is Nestor Gonzalez. I'm originally from Edinburgh, Texas. And I graduated from Arbella High School in 2014, and then I went to Texas Tech University and graduated in 2018 with a Bachelor's of Science in Human Development and Family Studies. I'm currently in a Doctorate of Occupational Therapy program at UT Health, and will hopefully graduate that in 2022.
Awesome, let's get started. A common question we often get at CSLAP is, what is it like to go upstate in the first place? So I wanted to ask you guys first, what was your motivation behind deciding to attend college upstate? And what did you enjoy most about it?
I really wanted to get out of my comfort zone and challenge myself. I saw myself having the most opportunities to grow as a scholar and develop the professional skills I needed at UT. I also liked the network that UT had. I enjoyed most the diversity and the ability to be independent and start somewhere new as a fresh start.
So for me, it was somewhat similar to what Amber said. When I graduated from high school, I really wanted to get as far away from back home to really be independent and just be on my own. And I thought that Texas Tech, one, physically being far away, but also just being in a different type of environment, like with people and community that's not what I was used to, would allow me to be able to grow as a person, both professionally and in the educational field. I also like the school had certain resources that were personally relevant to me. So they have things like Burkhart, which is an autism center. And they also have the Childhood Development and Research Center, which is an area that I ended up going to get to work in research in. And so those were areas that kind of were interesting to me for my future endeavors now in OT school. But yeah, pretty much just trying to branch out of what I knew was comfortable.
Austin and Lubbock are so different from the Valley. And if students haven't been there before, they might not know exactly what life is like at these colleges. So can you all talk about how did living in your university city differ from living in the Rio Grande Valley?
So living in a big city such as Austin was completely different to me personally. I had to adjust to the traffic and the commute to school from my apartment. I also had to adjust from being away from my family and close friends. Austin can be a very busy city, but there's a lot of fun things that you can do on the weekends, such as go to the Greenbelt and hike or visit Lake Austin.
So Lubbock is definitely very different from back home in the Valley, just because it's very realistically a college town. It's in the Panhandle, far away from pretty much a lot of things that you see in Texas, like the Austin, San Antonio area. But even though it's kind of far away, it's just the fact that it's a college town really does make it feel very homey and very welcoming to me. At least that was my experience. It's big enough to where you have a lot of the amenities that you want, but still, I don't know, I guess I always was in that mindset when I was there, that I was there for school, and that helped me kind of just be prepared to take on the different things that the school demanded of me. And so that really helped me adjust when I kept that in the front of my mind, because it was a little challenging to transition from somewhere like the Valley to somewhere as Western as Lubbock.
Now I want to get a little more into student life. So can you all talk about what was a typical day in the life like at your university?
Yeah, so usually I would start off with my morning classes, and then I would head over to my internship that was also on UT, and then I would finish off my afternoon classes, and then head over to the Student Activity Center where I would study for the rest of the day. And while I was on my way to the Student Activity Center, there was always student organizations just kind of advertising about themselves on Speedway, which was really cool because you always got to see someone new on Speedway.
So I tried to, for the most part, keep all my classes early on in the day, just so that would leave my afternoons open. So usually my classes ended, if it was on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it would end at 12. And then if it was any other day, it would be like 3-ish. And that would leave my afternoons open for me to do my shadowing for grad school to apply, and also for potentially jobs or TA, depending on what semester it was. So that would also leave me time to volunteer. So I was really interested in volunteering just because that's what I did in high school. And so a lot of my afternoons were done catering to the Lubbock community. So whether that be the Boys and Girls Club or the Lubbock Impact Center, different things like that, I was able to do that like pretty much right after school. And then in my organization that I was in, Alpha Omega, it allowed me to kind of do other leadership things as well. And it was pretty busy, but I did have usually at least one day off throughout each semester, like a Thursday or Friday, where I could kind of unwind and just hang out with friends. So that was kind of like my day to relax from like a hectic week otherwise.
Based on everything you guys have been saying, college sounds very fun. I wanted to ask a question about the other side of it, which is an obstacle you guys faced. So can you guys speak to one of the biggest obstacles you faced when transitioning between high school and college and what you did to overcome it?
So my biggest obstacle was going through imposter syndrome. My first semester at UT, I was extremely successful in high school, and when I started college, I felt extremely behind, and I thought maybe I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, and I didn't belong at a rigorous school such as UT. I felt like a fraud essentially, and there was this pressure that I could not fail. I overcame this by connecting with other freshmen in my program who came from similar backgrounds as me. And this made me realize that it's a normal thing to feel, and especially in college and being away from home. I also went to my TAs for help during their office hours, because sometimes your professors can be a little intimidating. So it's a good way to connect with your TAs because they're students just like you. I had to change my entire way of thinking. I had to learn to be kind to myself and reframe failure as a learning opportunity. And ultimately what helped was I learned to seek help and support.
So for me, it was really culture shock. That was the biggest change for me. I kind of mentioned about how Lubbock is a different kind of world of its own compared to the Valley. And at the time, when I first transitioned there my freshman year, it was really overwhelming, I think, just because, the Valley truly has the Hispanics as the minority majority. And that's really great when you're here because, you feel a sense of connection, whatever. But when you move over to a place where that's not the case, it really feels like you're not able to reach out to people because you're not able to connect with them on a personal level like you are back home. And so that was really tough for me because I didn't really know what to reach out to, or I guess I knew that I had resources like, like the university center and stuff like that, but I just didn't feel comfortable doing it just because I felt like I was supposed to be independent. And that was the whole reason that I went to a different school so far away. But I think a big reason that I was able to get past that was because through those courses that I took in my College of Human Sciences, it was kind of pushing us to do a lot of discussions and open forum for us to kind of discuss differences and things that kind of were relevant to our curriculum that made it easier for us to be, more open about our personal circumstances and whatnot. And that helped me to be more comfortable asking people just, for help, whether it be in small things like school assignments and stuff like that, or more personal things like just connecting with people. Because I really didn't know anybody from the Valley. So that helped me the most to feel, one, welcome, and two, just comfortable enough to achieve things that were outside of my comfort zone.
Next, I wanted to ask about opportunities and resources you took advantage of at your university that helped you overcome some of these challenges. So can you all speak to university resources that you were able to take advantage of that helped you succeed at your university?
I took advantage of UT's writing center. I made appointments and I was able to get feedback on my writing assignments for classes, as well as my scholarship essays. It was very helpful, and it was probably the best resources my campus offered. I also use the Sanger Learning Center for tutoring in my more difficult classes such as physics. I also took advantage of the mind-body labs that UT offers. It's designed to help students improve their emotional and physical well-being. So it was nice to take a little time out of my day to really free my mind and stay collective, and that helped me do better in my academics.
So for me, the main resource that I used was the University Career Center, just because I knew that I wanted to go to grad school from the very beginning, and being able to build up a good resume was really important for me because I knew that doing what I did for high school was probably something that I needed to improve on, just because I knew it was more competitive at a grad level. And so they helped with mock interviews. They helped me with my resume questions as far as how to bolster it. and also just the overall application process, what organizations look good on a resume and how to connect to those different organizations on campus. Besides that, I did use the Writing Center every now and then at our school, mainly for the classes that were like more abstract thinking, where it was a little difficult for me to apply what I was thinking on paper, and just being able to make sure that I was sounding, coherent and still feeling like I was able to apply all those abstract concepts. And so it was really good because at first, like I said earlier, it was a little overwhelming to kind of reach out for help when I wanted to be independent. But the resources they had there were both student-led and also faculty-led, so it helped me feel comfortable to have my choice in the person I wanted to ask for help, so that I wouldn't feel, ridiculed or whatever. But they never made me feel that way.
Because both of you are college graduates, I wanted to ask you, what about your university experience helped you prepare for post-college life?
My university experience prepared me for post-college life by giving me the tools I needed to succeed in finding a job and connecting with employers, building my brand, and establishing my network. I was able to develop a lot of my professionalism through my internships and through my scholarship program, the University Leadership Network Program. In addition, my organizations that I was involved in on campus allowed me to expand my network and add valuable experiences that I could put on my resume as marketable skills that I attained.
So for me, the biggest takeaway was just being able to, through the process of undergrad, learn how to have a good personal/work/educational balance, just because I knew that I wanted to be able to have a job in grad school, even though it's not necessarily always recommended, but I knew I wanted to be able to lessen my financial burden in grad school once my undergrad scholarships were going to be, taken up. And so having the resources that I mentioned earlier, like the Career Center, to help me to manage my organizations, like volunteer work and whatnot, and my work experiences, so that they were both, not overtaking me in my personal endeavors, was really helpful. Besides that, I think a lot of the prerequisite courses that I took were really helpful in just giving me a good insight on what the workload was going to be in grad school. I chose to do a lot of the classes that were typically recommended to do online, just because I wanted to be able to understand what it would be like for grad school to actually be in person, because there's no online courses in my graduate program, at least. Well, besides, current times right now. But overall, it just helped me to be aware of like how much I could handle and when I needed to take a step back to, take more mental breaks.
Now I wanted to rewind a bit and ask you guys, if you can go back in time and talk to yourself right before graduating high school and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would tell myself to utilize my sources and opportunities. If I was struggling in an area, I would tell myself to go ask the teachers or classmates for help. Don't be afraid to go get tutoring rather than trying to figure it out yourself. You save a lot of time. Build those relationships with your teachers and your counselors. Expand your network. Find a lot of opportunities within your school and community. Volunteer, join clubs. Develop leadership by running for leadership positions in those orgs, or create your own organization based on your interests, and take as many as electives as you can to find out what you like and learn from them.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me is don't hesitate to reach out for help because of fear of judgment or fear of looking like less than your peers. I wish I would have done that a lot earlier. It would have saved me a lot of stressful nights studying and just procrastinating because of not doing something right. Besides that, be comfortable whenever you are in a leadership position in a school organization, just because I think that was the biggest fear I had in my first few years, not wanting to take a leadership position because I felt like that would take away from my school experience overall. And in the end, it didn't. And it just only bettered me both in school and then personally as a person, that, just interacting with my peers. Besides that, I think the kind of like Amber mentioned, my biggest regret was that I didn't take a lot of elective courses that I wanted to take and just thought were not within my, time commitments. But I wish I would have been able to commit to courses that were fun for me, and I definitely had the time for.
This was really excellent. I want to give students a chance to connect with you all so they can ask questions about the college transition experience. Do you all have a piece of contact information you'd like to share with students who might be watching this video?
Yeah, you can connect with me through my CSLAP mentor profile.
You can also reach out to me in my CSLAP mentor profile or my Instagram. I get on that quite frequently, even though I probably shouldn't, but it's my name, Nestor, with Nestor. S-S-T-O-R-R. So 3 S's and 2 R's.
Well, thank you all for an excellent panel. This was really insightful, and it was great to reconnect with both of you again. Thank you so much for giving your time and attention to the class of 2021 and beyond. This is Thomas Ray Garcia from CSLAP signing off. I'll see you guys soon.